Welcome to a 1v1 on La Glaze Breakout. This game is going to be Bite and Hold as Overcommando West in the south versus Ihitto, playing as Soviets in the north. We've got Scavenge, Spec Ops, and Fortifications against Guard Motor, Shock Rifle, and Advanced Warfare. So pretty standard stuff. You know, something I've noticed lately is that a lot of players bring Special Operations to the table, but they don't pick it. And I don't know. I wonder what makes it good enough that they throw it on their loadout, but not good enough that it ever gets chosen. Hopefully we're actually going to see it for once this game. I don't know. Seems like it's pretty much all about fortifications and scavenge. You want fortifications for the maps where you can very easily set up those choke points, set up those MGs and defend, and you want scavenge for maps like this one, where it's all about building play. You need infiltration grenades to get your enemy out of buildings. You need Jaegers to deploy in opportune spots. All that kind of stuff. SWS is engaging a little bit here in the north, and we've got two squads of conscripts making their way down. I'm thinking we're probably going to see guard motor coordination tactics, since it's really quite difficult to punish those heavy mortars on this map, and you can set them up so close to your base and have range of lots of different critical points of engagement. So that's my prediction for the Soviet player, but shock rifle we see on this map all the time as well. Incendiary artillery obviously is nice, having a flame tank is nice on this map, and the engagement ranges are quite favorable for the IS-2 as well, so definitely also a perfectly good decision. Advanced warfare I'd be a little bit more surprised by. That's one you don't see as much, but it could definitely be made to work on this map. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Apparently these four guys decided to hang out while this guy scouts ahead. Oh, there they go.
Enemy fire! You are shooting low. Check sights. Engineers have secured the sector.
Conscripts make their way to this munitions point, and two squads of conscripts are making their way down to assist in engagements. No Molotov research yet, as he's gone with a fourth squad of conscripts instead of Molotov research, so that's going to stall this engagement for a while the Volksgrenadiers continue to engage quite favorably here at range and in green cover. But because the Soviets have the numerical advantage, probably it still won't be cost effectively, but it'll be as effectively as they can possibly engage without support arriving in the form of Stern Pioneers and more Volksgrenadiers making their way up from the base. The truck looks like it wants to go forward to push, and conscripts will position themselves in the building. One squad forced to retreat, another one moving away from the truck, but Stern Pioneers closing the gaps. The squad in the building is going to do significant damage here.
Conscripts can now throw Molotovs.
Stern Pioneers take significant damage after being focused down by conscripts. Molotovs have finally been researched and will help to secure this engagement for the Soviets, and I'm thinking that all Volksgrenadiers will be forced to retreat here. Unless he throws a grenade to turn the engagement, but it doesn't look like that's about to happen. Combat engineers falling dangerously low, however, do get picked off. Nice snipe by those Volksgrenadiers. That will be the first full squad wipe of the game, taking out those combat engineers, and he suffered no full losses of his own. And actually, another squad of Volksgrenadiers has arrived to support. I wasn't paying attention, but a fourth squad of Volks did get fielded, and he's actually going for another squad of Stern Pioneers here as well, so he's investing heavily in Tier 0 or Tier 1 infantry. And he should be able to perform quite well against Ihitto's poor conscript opening if Ihitto doesn't field something more soon. But he's very close to 2 command points, at which point he'll have access to shock troops if he wants those. Or he can simply go Tier 2. Or he could field a heavy mortar. So he's going to have a lot of options available to him as soon as he hits 2 command points. He's reinforced a few of his conscripts and made his way back to the front line with these squads. And the battle for this munitions point just continues to be a stalemate, which works out in Bite and Hold's favor, as he's the one who actually holds this point. And munitions control is so important. I would argue that in the right situation, it's more important than fuel control, because it controls the pace at which your opponent can get critical infantry upgrades. Bitenhold now does have enough munitions to get himself one Panzerschreck. Not sure if he's made any other munitions purchases yet. But that being said, he hasn't even teched up yet, so he's going to need to do that if he wants to have access to Panzerschrecks and grenades. One flame crit there. Volksgrenadiers will be forced to retreat. Lots of conscripts in the retreat path. Not sure they're going to get away. He moved to chase. Probably had better chances if he just held still. Retreating through yellow cover should help him escape, and there he goes. Molotov going in the building will force that squad out as well. Soviet kind of creeping forward and taking control of the entire map. And these two Stern Pioneer squads are stuck here on the right side without support. They really need Volksgrenadiers to help them in engagements. They can't hope to accomplish much on their own without catching enemy squads at extremely close range. And they're about to get spotted by this Combat Engineer squad, so things are not going very favorably here.
Shock troops have arrived.
He can at the very least make it difficult to engage him by rounding this corner and forcing his opponent to get into close range to unseat him, but his retreat path is going to be very dangerous, and he doesn't even try to continue engaging. He just wants to get them out of there. Support's not going to get there in time, and it's best to just try and minimize losses on retreat, and it looks like he will be largely successful, only losing one Stern Pioneer model here. So 40 manpower loss, but not a huge deal, and Battle Group Headquarters has been teched, so he'll have access to healing there in his base. So he's now operating on 4 Volksgrenadiers, 2 Stern Pioneers, and his opponent has gone Shock Rifle, as predicted. Probably a good call against this much infantry. It's going to give him the edge he needs to harass and counter-harass with that infantry squad. Nothing that Bitenhold has on the field can hope to contend with that for now, and until he techs to something a little more beefy. Oh, that was a nice grenade. That was a very nice grenade. That single-handedly won him that engagement, and his munitions control has been so good that I think that was something that he could easily afford. Shock troops get a very nice pickup over here, shepherding those squads right back to the OKW base before they can really have much of an impact in the field. But they're forcing 3 squads to retreat and inflicting heavy losses with that one grenade. Definitely a good return on investment. That was 5 models, 6 models? Or is that a Volksgrenadier? I guess that's a Volksgrenadier. 5 models killed though. With 1 grenade, forced 3 squads to retreat. Definitely a good return on investment. It's very critical to know when to throw grenades and when not to, and I think that Bitenhold made the right call in that situation. And now he's getting a 5th squad of Volksgrenadiers, really filling out his infantry army quite a lot. He's gone Fortifications Doctrine, but no MG34. He obviously could have gotten one if he wanted, but instead is opting for more Volksgrenadiers, so I'm thinking he's probably only going Fortifications for the Pak 43. MG34 not as appealing on a map where it's so easy to flank and take out with Molotovs and shock troops and smoke and all that kind of thing. His opponent has too many effective tools with which to deal with machine guns on this map. So Volksgrenadiers are just the safer call. Shock troops are going to get focused down by 3 squads of Volksgrenadiers at range. If he attempts to close the distance, he'll probably get burst down before he can have a meaningful impact, so he's forced to reposition. But support is on the way. 3 squads of conscripts over here in the center. Shock troops moving to re-engage with conscript support. Grenade going out. Nice dodge. Moves to continue closing the gap, inflicting heavy losses on that Volksgrenadier squad, and there's the very first squad wipe by the Soviet player of the game. He just didn't react quite in time. And a Molotov will force the Volksgrenadiers from the building entirely. Shock troops have taken only 2 losses, netted 3 kills, will be getting to Vet 1 quite soon. More conscripts moving up to take control of the center. As far as map control, not looking that great for the Soviet player, who is taking full munitions control but losing full fuel control. So he really needs to step up his game a little bit in that regard, and he is doing so on the left side, moving to take away the OKW fuel, but he's probably going to get pushed back very soon by infantry forces making their way to the left side.
Heavy machine gun team, prepared for combat. Contact!
Sandbag fighting position going up.
Infantry shooting at us! We rise in the ranks, engineer. Bit by bit, we take back the zone. Casualties! Ambush camouflage now available.
And this double Sternpio squad over here. Ooh, Molotov's way off target. Easily going to force a full retreat from both of those squads. The engagement could have gone so much better for the Soviet player, but he just kind of messed it up. Engaging one at a time around the tight corner instead of at medium range. Stern Pioneers will continue to move across the right side, although he's keeping them dangerously clumped. He's quite lucky that his opponent hasn't thrown a demo charge down or anything over here. But I guess he hasn't had the munitions. Ihitto's munitions control is very good now, but up until this point it really hasn't been. He spent a decent amount on a flamethrower here, and he spent a lot on Molotovs. Possibly also mines somewhere. I'm surprised to see his munitions so low,
We are now equipped with a flamethrower.
because I'm sure he must have made purchases other than one, no, two, okay, two flamethrowers.
Demolished. Enemy troops! Taking fire!
I don't see any mines or demos though. He's probably going to get forced away over here on the left side by those, by that flamethrower though. And Tier 4 has successfully been constructed here on the left side to protect a fuel point. And the Soviet player's also gone Tier 2 and fielded himself a Maxim, so his map control continues to be quite good as far as munitions, but he definitely needs to get that right side fuel point back under control. Triggers a shoe mine over here, but only takes 3 losses.
Forces are attempting to capture our territory.
And the flamethrowers making their way towards the strategic point.
The enemy has us flanked.
That squad gets away without any losses, although to take heavy damage. And a Panzer II Lux is on the field, making its way towards the center. Soviet doesn't have much of a counter yet, but a field gun is in production. Anti-tank grenades still have not been researched.
Anti-tank gun is ready for action. Enemy forces are neutralizing a sector.
Catches a flamethrower squad out of position. He could probably chase that all the way back to the base. The field gun is done, and it spawned from the left rally point, so it could definitely screen the Lukes, but it's not going to continue the chase. Instead, it's going to be used to continue to secure map control and shepherd squads back to the Soviet base.
Is encroaching on our territory.
Mine right there. Lukes will miss it narrowly. Don't see many other mines in the area. Here's one over here, although the combat engineers are still standing in a rather telltale formation. Oh!
A squad of infantry has been killed. Death before retreat.
And there they go.
Enemy forces are capturing our supplies. Replacements have arrived.
Stern Pioneers making their way up the right side. Both have been upgraded with minesweeper packages. Probably a good time to be doing that. He's spotted one mine. He was fortunate enough to detonate it with his Panzer II, though. But where there's one mine, there are sure to be others. Has not quite spotted this one. Might trigger that with his infantry. He's inflicting huge losses on his opponent's combat engineers with that Panzer II. He's already wiped one squad and forced that one to retreat twice. Field gun does land a shot on the Panzer II, though, forcing it to hide behind this building. And AT grenades have been researched. Wait, what? He went with two Panzer IIs. Interesting. Closes the gap with conscripts to land the AT grenade, but it rounds the corner before the field gun could finish it off. But AT grenade will finish it. And lots of AT grenades are being thrown at these Panzer IIs. He doesn't really have the munitions to continue doing that, unfortunately. He will recruit the AT gun and try to get it to safety rather than continuing to engage various infantry in the area, being engaged by shock troops as well, putting them in quite a bit of danger. But an MG34 will be able to suppress them and protect. And the field gun here is being engaged by Volksgrenadiers, but it gets suppressed by some Maxim, and they'll be forced to retreat in turn. What a messy series of engagements. Which is not surprising when you see a double Luke's opening. That's something I've almost never seen. And I'm not sure it paid off. AT grenades and field gun were sufficient to kill one. The timings of the engagement just didn't work out quite right for bite and hold. But as far as manpower, he's putting a serious drain on his opponent, while not suffering that much of one of his own, despite the fact that he did invest a lot into these two Panzer IIs. His infantry forces are looking pretty healthy. He's got a squad of Obers coming. He's wiped one squad of conscripts that I apparently missed, in addition to the combat engineer squad that he wiped. So all in all, he's looking pretty strong. His opponent has 6 combat-capable infantry squads, and he has 8. And that's reflected in his map control. He now holds almost the entire map. Soviet player being forced to bunch all of his forces together because he really can't afford to spread out at this point. Now there's a Panzer II on the field. If he spreads himself out, the Panzer II can just move to pick lone squads off one at a time, force them to retreat, and they accomplish nothing. Forcing your opponent to bunch up like this is so powerful, it leaves them vulnerable to grenades and suppression. And if you can successfully keep your opponent pinned in his base, there won't be much you can do. Another squad of conscripts gets wiped by the Panzer II there. Molotov trying to break this containment will force that machine gun to retreat. Meanwhile, shock troops could wipe a squad here. It was not paying attention to the Volksgrenadiers in the house, and they get wiped. That is a much needed relief for Ihitto, who is not going to hold out for IS-2. Instead, he's going to rush that KV-8 onto the field and try to utilize that to give himself some breathing room here, and it'll definitely be of great use against the Obersoldaten, and obviously the Panzer II poses no serious threat to it. And everything is going to retreat from the right side. A serious problem, one for which he doesn't have much of a solution here. Still no Pak-43 on the field. He's fielding himself a Raketenwerfer now. If he loses both of these Sturm Pioneer squads, the manpower losses will be just about catastrophic, and there's just nothing to save them. Nothing. No mines in the retreat path, no Panzerschrecks. One Raketenwerfer just finished now. He wants to finish those squads, but the way he's placed his battle group headquarters could save him here. KV-8 takes a nice rear armor hit from the Raketenwerfer, and it looks like it may disengage. I'm not sure. He's down to about half. He can't stick around much longer, not safely anyway. He's trying to push, but he's about to take some serious rear armor hits on his way out of the base. But it looks like he should get away. Yeah, he should be fine. Another squad wipe over here on the right side, though. I'm not even sure what happened. I wasn't able to watch. But only 2 Volksgrenadier squads remaining, looking a little bit dicey here for Bite and Hold, who had such a strong hold on the map thanks to his double Panzer II opening. But look how quickly that changed. As soon as the KV-8 hit the field, he wasn't properly positioned and ready. He lost a Panzerschreck squad in this building. This building, the squad had already fallen dangerously low and was forced to retreat immediately, so he had no anti-tank presence on the field at the time when it struck, and it just had a really dramatic impact. 7 kills already, and it's almost vet 1. Rather than disengaging, he's going to continue to engage the squad in the building, feeling relatively confident, I guess, that he will win that. But the squad sticks around, and if this Rakettenwerfer gets a shot off, that could be the end of the KV-8. I'm not sure what's going to happen here. It's just, I think it might be blocked by the Panzer II smoke. Obersoldaten take 2 flame crits in that engagement, and they'll be forced to retreat, and we will see a full retreat by the OKW. Very, very close to taking that thing out. But sustained anti-tank fire from the AT gun in there, plus I think an AT grenade might have connected, destroys the 2nd Panzer II, bringing Buitenhold back to 0 vehicles at all, except for his half-track thing. So his only real advantage right now is his map control. It's probably going to start fading quick once the Soviets start spreading out and expanding, because with only 2 Volksgrenadier squads and his Obersoldaten, he doesn't have that much of an infantry force anymore. Meanwhile, fresh conscripts are being fielded here, in addition to these shock troops, which have been reinforced and healed up. More combat engineers hitting the field to assist in repairs as well. The silver lining for Buitenhold is that Ihitto spent a lot of fuel on this IS, or on this KV-8, so his IS-2 is going to be rather late. He isn't going to have the resources for that for quite a while, especially with his current map control situation.
Enemy contact! Under fire!
Maxim in the building, falling low, will be forced to retreat. The engagement's going to be rejoined here in the center. Soviet is just going to make a head-on charge right down the middle. Not much of a reason not to, since his opponent's forces are so light. Rakettenwerfer falling dangerously low. Why isn't it retreating? It refuses to retreat, but he pays the price. He was hoping for a miracle, and he didn't get one. The KV-8's not even remotely low here, and it's inflicting huge losses. And there it is. A Jagdpanzer has been fielded. He obviously wanted to hold out for Panther, but it's just not gonna happen. Wait, actually, he almost had enough fuel for a Panther, but I guess he decided a Jagdpanzer was a better call. Interesting choice. Maybe he wants the Jagdpanzer rather than a Panther, so that because it just has better anti-tank punch. But on this map, it's very vulnerable. Very vulnerable on this map. It's already kind of struggling. This Rakettenwerfer just got stolen. Bad news. KV-8 should have no problem escaping this Jagdpanzer. If he had a Panther, he could easily chase with its turret. Well, not easily. T-grenade damaging his Panther's engine would have been a serious problem, but a Panther is also much less likely to suffer engine damage from an AT grenade, so already we've seen 2 of the Panther's strong points quite lacking in the Jagdpanzer counterpart here. Weaker armor on the front, the AT grenade, and no turret. And on this map, both of those things are very important. Apparently only one of the Sturm Pioneer squads remains. I didn't even see how the other one got wiped. And he's fielded a fresh squad of Volksgrenadiers to try to bolster his infantry ranks. He's gonna have to play very, very smart with his Jagdpanzer. And I think his opponent may need to make some critical mistakes with it as well, with his KV-8 as well, if there's gonna be any chance of the Jagdpanzer taking it out. As long as he continues to stay on the Jagdpanzer's flank, it won't be a particularly significant threat. And utilizing a Jagdpanzer in this area with all these tight corners and everything, it's just not gonna go well. It's so easy for your opponent to just negate the threat that it poses. And there's the IS-2. He had a pretty decent-sized window where he wasn't going to have to deal with one of those, thanks to forcing his opponent to get a KV-8, but that window is closed. Nice pickup, however, on the left side. Obersoldaten catch shock troops, and they're way too late to retreat, apparently. Full squad goes down. And that's the only squad of shock troops. That is a huge win. Jagdpanzer, however, is in extreme danger. KV-8 moving to follow up behind will probably force a retreat, if not a wipe here. And there they go, almost instantly killed. Barely any time to react. The Jagdpanzer is getting shots off on the IS-2, which is not quite mobile enough to get behind it. The KV-8, however, is moving up to put a lot of pressure on the Panzerschrecks. I'm not sure that IS-2 is going to get away here. KV-8 goes down. IS-2 missing its shots, but shots are also bouncing off the frontal armor, and the KV-8 goes down. KV-8 goes down, but the IS-2 is definitely going to get away thanks to the Jagdpanzer's damaged engine, and another vetted Volksgrenadier squad did go down here. And the Panzerschreck is recovered by the Soviet player. So despite losing his KV-8, he definitely had a win there, that he took out one of those vetted squads, and he's brought back down to only 2 squads of Volksgrenadiers with Panzerschrecks, and one of them is pretty fresh. Only 2 stars of vet, but they'll get back up to 5 reasonably quickly if they can land some good shots with that Panzerschreck. And now that the KV-8's dead, they'll have more time to engage before being forced to retreat by fire.
We have an isolated sector.
Uh-oh. Kind of overextended that over squad. Fortunately, one of the shots just missed. They're going to round a bit of a corner here. They're getting focused down by the entire Soviet army, though. Second shot misses consecutively, and that is one lucky Obersoldaten. Barely made it away.
Engineer standing by.
He can still replace Obersoldaten losses since he has not lost his tier 4, which sometimes happens at this point in the game. Tier 4 is usually gone. Whoa. Really? Okay, apparently Ihitto won. I thought, man, that match was just getting interesting. I wonder if he just disconnected. Maybe he just had internet issues. Well, okay. GG.